Back in 1997, a group of futurists funded by a Washington, D.C. think tank and several three-letter government agencies wrote a book about what the world might look like in the future. And when you look at what they predicted back then, it's disturbingly accurate.
Now, this is the title of the book, 2025, Scenarios of U.S. and Global Society Reshaped, there's that re again, by science and technology. You know what's so fascinating about this? It was published 27 years ago in the year 1997, and it was funded, well funded, by a Washington, D.C. think tank and three-letter government agencies. But here's the thing, 1997, 27 years ago, and they write a book about a 502-page book about what the world's going to be.
A 500-page book filled with dozens of predictions. And according to some estimates, nearly 90% of them seem to match what eventually happened. And the ones that haven't happened yet may be closer than we think. Because the remaining predictions go into things like World War III, mass starvation, global crisis, and much more. But instead of me going through the list, let's hear this gentleman explain it himself, because this is actually how I first became aware of it while watching one of his videos.
Okay, you ready for the list? Fast mutating viral disease pandemics, genetically developed vaccines, smart IDs, 1997, and this is, you can do the word search and research yourself. They predicted, not 2025, but by 2020, that people would be working from home virtually. Come on. Listen, that's World War III, of course. Nuclear devices causing widespread contamination. Nanotech devices, this stuff was never even heard of. Digital currency, vaccination programs run by organizations like the World Health Organization for a global killer that has yet to emerge. First printing, February 1997.
The book is real. You can find it, you can read it, and these are not some far-fetched interpretations. Now, I would like to believe they're not right about everything, but we'll see. What we're going to focus on instead are the most important predictions that haven't happened yet, because we already know what took place. What's far more interesting is what this book says might still be coming. So let's start.
I want to now share with you some of the insights that these guys had way back in the mid-90s. Again, this is a well-connected think tank in D.C. They're funded and engaged with the wealthy corporations, the ruling class, the National Security Agency. And in 1997, they published this book, creatively titled 2025. And check this out. In the acknowledgments we read, our first thank you is to the sponsors, the people, and the organizations who made possible the original Project 2025 from which this book was created. What did they call it? It was called Project 2025? This book was published in 1997.
The project itself was led by futurist James Canton, an advisor in technology, national security, and economic forecasting. But what really raises eyebrows is the acknowledgments section in the book, because the authors openly thank the organizations that helped fund the original research behind it. Large corporations, technology companies, defense contractors, policy institutions. The kind of organizations that don't just observe trends, but often influence the direction of technology and policy. So the question becomes, were these simply educated guesses? Or were they looking at plans already being discussed behind closed doors? Either way, let's take a look at what they predicted.
10 things to expect if this Project 2025 from the mid-90s turns out to be correct about the remaining items that have not yet transpired. And before I list them, I want to remind us, these are not just, throwing a bunch of stuff at the wall and see what sticks. I mean, it's like 90% track record here. But, and they may not be right about all these either, but here we go.
Now brace yourselves, because if what you're about to hear ever becomes reality, things could get very ugly. Let's hope they got this part wrong. But listen to this.
They said we will have World War III, a nuclear device causing widespread contamination, additional epidemics, cyber attacks, or in their world, computer-based socially significant crime, such as tampering with air traffic control or national security systems, a global currency, mass starvation. Now that, in and of itself, that's pretty heavy that we just considered. But given, again, the track record and how the things that they're announcing here, you also hear announced by the likes of Bill Gates and Klaus Schwab and Jesuit Tide. We're going to see some pretty interesting stuff as we go forward, but we're just on Project 2025 from the 90s right now. Let's look first at the mass starvation. I was mentioning Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum, WEF. He stated, we're going to have an angrier world. In the context of food and energy scarcity, we are going to have an angrier world. Those are his words. And so when he talks about an angrier world, and in the same interview, Klaus says that this angrier world will be because of economic conditions, and that's why I see the need for a great reset. In fact, roll that clip right now, please.
We have to prepare for a more angry world, and I see the need for action. I see the need for a great reset.
When you start looking around today, some of these ideas don't feel as far away as they once did. Conversations about global crisis, food shortages, cyber warfare, they're no longer just theory. The World Economic Forum often discusses scenarios involving systemic shocks, digital infrastructure attacks, and the need for a reset of the global system. You hear similar language from government reports, economic forums, and international policy meetings. The idea that a large cyber attack could disrupt entire countries, or that supply chains could collapse and trigger food shortages, is something even officials now discuss publicly. And when you see these same themes appearing again and again, it makes you wonder, were these futurists simply connecting the dots ahead of time? Or were they closer to the people drawing the map in the first place?
There is a Obama-produced film, a movie, that came out called Leave the World Behind. Why did the Obamas get behind this film? The film, I won't be able to tell you that, but I can tell you what the film is about. It's about an apocalyptic scenario after the grid fails, and there's a grid down crisis because of cyber attacks. And this comes out, again, right before 2025. And then you go back to 2014 with the release of a video game, which also has scripts like movies do. And this Black Ops 2, major prominent video game. The script writers for it were consulting with that the Wall Street Journal calls the premier futurist in the national security space. So the top Pentagon futurist was consulted for the script on this video game. And what is the script for the video game? Well, the object of the game is to prevent a cyber attack in the context of a new Cold War with China. And guess what year this video game is set? And again, this came out in 2014, and the video game is set in 2025. So we're starting to see kind of a pattern here, are we not?
But isn't it a little strange, that film produced by the Obamas? I mean, why that topic? And why now? And why do we keep hearing about these kinds of scenarios more and more often? Every now and then, authorities even suggest that people keep some emergency cash at home, enough for about 72 hours, just in case ATMs or payment systems suddenly stop working. So you start to wonder, what's really going on here? Maybe it's all just coincidence. I don't know.
We look at World War III, and we look at their predictions that a nuclear device causing widespread contamination will take place. This might sound outlandish, but keep in mind that since 1945, with the invention and using of the first atomic bomb, there have been, in Cold War history, 16 near-miss nuclear events. And historians and national security experts estimate that about 1%, you have about a 1% chance in any given year of having a nuclear exchange. 1% chance, then over a 100-year period of time, you'd expect it once. If you get halfway through that, you feel like, we're living on borrowed time. Well, we're like 80% of the way through a 100-year period of time since 1945. So it's hard to expect the unexpected. It's hard to foresee that which our normalcy bias doesn't allow us to see as potentials. We lose imagination because we see only the thing immediately in front of us. But this is something that the Project 2025 futurists are saying to expect. And again, we see war, epidemics, starvation. Let's do it in the proper order from the Bible again. War, starvation, epidemics. Those are 3 of the 6 that are up there from that pale horse.
Back in 1997, a group of futurists funded by a Washington, D.C. think tank and several three-letter government agencies.
Alright, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, all honors, and glory to Abba wa Allah Hayana Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakuda Shalamat, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and salutation to the hopeful elect, the brethren that are teaching this word in truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth, the house of David, the Bayit Shaldawada, the elect. I'm the brother Sayan from GMS Suriname, back with another lesson to edify and to feed the sheep of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. So as you can see, man, the wicked, they are working, man. They are planning. They have been planning all of these things, man, since, but it all goes back to Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai, because Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai is using these devils, the so-called white men, Esau, Edom, to do all of these things, man. Ultimately, it's Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai is doing everything, So I'm gonna talk to the people in the Suriname language that they can understand. So brada nga sa, mina brada sayan fu GMS Suriname me komba kananga wani nga akrakti nga spirit fu amoro hiwang. Awan sa we kargado, e truning in het Hebrews na Yahweh. Ina nefe wonderbaar so na awan sa we kar Jesus Christus e truning in het Hebrews na Yahweh Shai. Me komba kananga wan tra video fu ko bawa ko lufok fu de bribi wang. E mi no me kentum sila nga lek fayere de maitaki na video. Isabito. Tak. Asin stene so kanam de ma de mai plan a system. Isa fato a system for a digital future, a digital to come. Isa fato for a mark of the beast. And de masaptak for sa mark of the beast okong. Di mo o na nga system dati. De masaptak de ma abif creëer wan los scenarios, de ma abif creëer hongersnood, de ma abif creëer chaos tapagron tapo. Fu de man kako na nga a oplossing en a oplossing o de a mark of the beast. Isa fato a RFID microchip. Je volgt om ala di trouble sa ekong, ala di sanad na sansang isitak na de suka nam de wet masref seta system ini sitak na ini si next fus nisi yang panisi suka nam de blakama ingi of kar ko antrani se sitak na de suka nam de wet man je volgt to omdat Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai gebruik de man voor do a evil je volgt to de man de left hand voor Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai en de Israelite de na right hand isa fata en unu de ano ala Israelite de na right hand bigi si fu de Israelite de na left hand wan de werken mi na agron tapu en agron tapu de onderleiding fu iso na a wicked system de volk to unu de wan sa de wan fu de Israelite sa de na a right hand na so a elect de bribi wang lek fa unu e bribi en we bigi kan fu a hopeful elect isa fata ma ja so e sorry fadak Job 9 and 24 the earth is given into the hand of the wicked des agron tapu de onderleiding ade ina anuk des fu kanam de wit mang de wicked. Je volgt dat. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. So de judges who agron tapo de rechters. Amoro iwang Yahweh Shai. Isabito the angels na a nation fu Israel. De man dry ala den sandati. De man cover ala santa amoro iwang na witmang Yahweh Shai na witmang. Isa fato de angels witi. Isa fato ko ala de foto in de kerk na ala de sansa de may poti. Ako kuso volk na disukan nam de witmang de wasa din Israel no de. Isitak suma do ala de sanat. Suma cover the faces. You see? Atagya so if not, where and who is he? If ano amang je volgt ook P en suma namang. You see? En nasusodeng de prophets aba secret. Nga de bribi wang saba secret. Tak na de suka nam de wet mang. Bigi si vagron tapu e brib etitak na ko spiritual demon satan edu den sani. Sa fato ano de suka nam de wet mang. Je volgt ook ala de telo ko ina video, ala de planning, ala buku sa de mascrifi project 2025. Sa fato published in 1997 disi dati. Sot volg je si. Na suka nam de wet mang si tak na ala de evil sa de ma e plan ko ina future. Je volgt en alla de sansa de man tag de man besiti sinds in de jaren 90, de jaren 80, 90. Alla de sansa de man tag de man boando. Alla de sansa werkelijke kompes. Na zo is je van dat Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai gebruik de man. Want fos de man tag de sanat in de jaren 90, de jaren 80, de jaren 2000 komitano. Alla de san descrivi na bukuk ba in de Bijbel 2000, 3000, 4000, 5000 jaren geleden ba. Je volgt toch? Je ziet? Dus de man is het sani, maar ultimately na Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai gebruik de man. Je volgt dat mo jompo na book of Micah chapter 2. Je zie, dis na sa de may do. Dus de may don de may hoor de council sa de mau city sa de mau do. Lek fa yesi ilek fa de may taki ina video. Je ziet ook en na Bible prophecy ano ho. Atag ja so woe to oppressors. Suma na de woe destruction for woesting. Je volgt toch? Giding oppressor. Wat betekent oppressor? De wan sa druk je de je onderdrukker, je slavenmeester. Je ziet toch? En zo de oppressors fu agro dapu, de top oppressors, de zogenaamde witman. Atagya zo, woe to them that defies iniquity. Want sa ma edu not defies iniquity to. You see, and work evil upon their beds. Na werkelijk sa ma edu. De man don't have the bedi, de man don, de man def den gewoon, de man denki so wickedness de man do, gitramon, gitamara, gitrawiki, fa de man wa set agro tapu, fa de man wa chip alasma. You see? And work evil upon their beds, while when the morning is light, they practice it. Je ziet, de man kan de council kon de vergadering kon ala de high elite de banking family de man doen de man lukken van dat dis na sawo city. Isa ba de man jare ko in praktijk en ja hou baasje me say laten to ook toe voor de man jare ko in praktijk omdat hij link op na biblical prophecy. You see, because it is in the power of their hand. De man dus hoe kan hem doen kan doen sa de man wanneer van de man go bomb Iran. Isa fato no wantra konder no man siki no wantra konder no man bar de man van de man go teka president in Venezuela. Lik van de man kar kon alles wat sande man do. Je volgt toch? Because it is in the power of their hand. Daarom ik een scripture daar net voor Job, hoofdstuk 9 vers 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Amoro iwan gidemang a rulership voor agron tapuya in de man anu. Dus we sa de man edu de man kan doen. En no man do de man next. En no de appel door pe amoro iwan op pura power voor de man anu en amoro iwan destroy ding. Op paying na voor alla de wicked sa de man do. You see, and they covered fields and take them by violence. Like van take Venezuela. No, de Amerika control Venezuela. Alla de olievelden. Amerika controlling. You see, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house. Want je ziet, de man aan bemoeien is dat in Venezuela. Met Venezuela lik een voorbeeld, omdat dat als scripture is affairs die zin, letterlijk zei de man in Venezuela. De man teken aan een force, de man teken militarily. Is dat wat ook? Nangako well, the might take also is a fatal so that the man and take them away so they oppress a man in his house, even a man and his heritage. De man or si de man Venezuela de onderdruk voor Amerikaan unude. Je ziet toch? En de Venezuela, de Venezolanen, de man Israelites, de man ingitok. Je ziet toch? Vers 3 etaki, arki sa opsa nga ding. Therefore thus said the Lord Yahweh Bahashum Yahweh Shai, behold against this family do I devise an evil. A family, soort family. A family voor Edom. Dus hoe gaan we doen? Amore, want dat I make een voorbereiding, een mooi stampo nyang, een mooi stampo fong, een mooi stampo judgment, een stampo evil. Ge a family dat is. Sana dus hoe gaan we doen? Maar en evil dat ik kon. En een ultimate big evil sa amore, want is set pot gi de man, na vernietig de man, hoofdkwartier, Amerika. In de derde wereldoorlog tagrong ng thermonuclear missile. You see? From which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall ye go haughtily, for this time is evil. You see, at least this ano, wakalik dentro alisi, at least this Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai o take them out. Isa fatama, apun sa mi buwan siya kontak, ala de sa de man predict 20, 30, 40, 50 jaar geleden en nu de san werkelijk komt to pass. Ano tak na de mga sarife doing na moro hiwang doing en amoro hiwang gebruik de man doing. Je volgt toch aan. Alla die sana sa de man predict tak de modus hongersnood, isa fatok people oroko vanuit huis uit, isa fatok die asi 19 bij de lockdown bij de derde wereldoorlog gekong. Alla die sana sa schrijf in de Bijbel, je zie dat suma doing. Je zie, suma gebruik de man voor creëren alla de scenario, die alla de wickedness die suma, je zie, go baka na Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Je volgt toch. Dus all glory, dus all praise, all glory. Ik ga naar Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Je volgt toch. Je ziet dus, no manier doen niks weer revita background tapu na yusa di na true na you must ma verstaan a proces sa egwan na imsap faye charis revita e idenasi via Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Want if je doe lonsan amoro je wanka kiki out en of a kancha judgment kona yu tapu. Je volgt toch. Because he is the ultimate power that is doing everything. Daarom ik na in vrede. Je volgt toch. Lord zullen bouwen geloof op honor, give all praises, all honors and glory to Abanawa Allah Hayanawa Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai Bahasham Raka Kodash Shalamat, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and salutation to the hopeful elect. Shalom.